The sport is sponsored by the Carol Markowitz Show. San Diego State, tough loss over the weekend in Colorado State on the road, 83-74. They'll be taking on Utah State, who is a potential quad one win for the Aztecs on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Here our coverage starting at 7 with Fletch and I on the pregame. Schaefer gets you going at 8. And here right here on San Diego Sports 760. And SDFC, massive win over CF Montreal, 5-0 over the weekend. And our boys out in Italy won gold over the Canadians by a score of 2-1. Jack Hughes get the game winner in overtime for the men's hockey team. This week, Carol Markowitz hosts insightful conversations with Dominic Green, Wall Street Journal contributor, and Algeminer's Corey Walker. You don't want to miss it. Listen to the Carol Markowitz Show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Sound off like you got a pair.
Let's get this week started with a little event at Snapdragon Stadium.
Anders, into the 18. Anders, save, Amal, goal.
SDFC is back for their second season with a statement versus FC Montreal.
No mercy. 5-0 victory. San Diego FC. Match day 1.
It was a long trip to Colorado for the Aztecs. Now it's back to work for Wednesday's game on the Mesa.
Who do you play for?
Play for United States of America.
Damn right. Another classic at the Olympics. Another gold medal for the U.S.
What do you play for? USA!
Plus a full weekend of Padres spring training to break down.
We got the Lakers -8.5 tonight against the Clippers.
You were so money.
Duke +2.5 at home at Cameron Indoor, taking on Michigan tomorrow night.
Yes. Good point.
Anthony Hernandez and Sean Strickland going over 4.5 total rounds.
Did I really just say that?
Give us Ryan Garcia +138 to get Barrios out of there tomorrow night in Vegas.
Get her done.
And we do it all from the San Diego Sports 760 studios inside the Fletch Zone.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone, minus Ben Fletcher. So how about that? So Ben Fletcher has the fever and chills. He's, I think, feeling a little bit better. Talked to him a little bit ago. So it's yours truly, Sammy Long, today, and we have a very special guest joining us, a dear personal friend of mine. I call him the pride of El Cajon. This is the man who's more San Diego than this man. He hosts a show every day called the Sliwa Show from 8 to 9 on his channel, Hoops Talk with Alan Sliwa. Alan Sliwa, how you doing, man?
What is going on, Sammy? How are you, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I'm glad you could join me today. Yes. Fletch all of a sudden this morning was like, I've been throwing up all night puking. I was like, what did Ben Fletcher get into this weekend? Yeah. Text us 70470. Start your message with team. There's
He's
plenty of ideas.
He's enjoying his weekend. Probably had a couple more. By the way, I'm at a point now of my drinking career. If I have like a margarita and a half, I'm out. I'm out for like a week and a half. I'm out 7 to 10 days.
Is it just a marg, or does that work with beer too? Is it you step up in alcohol, then it takes you out?
No, it doesn't look good. I'm just telling you right now. I'm not. My drinking game is definitely not. Maybe there was a point in my career when I was at SDSU. Right?
I was about to say
when I was a proud Aztec student. Maybe there was a time where it was like, go with the best of them. Yeah, those days are long gone.
I mean, Sammy. The nickname for San Diego State, it's the Harvard of the West, on the academics, on campus, and for extracurricular activities, really getting you prepared for life.
I retired at 24. At 24, I was like, I'm done.
It's a life well lived, Alan.
I drank a lot during those days. Now I'm boring.
All right. Well, thank you, man, so much for joining me today.
It
means the world. Again, text us 70470. Start your message with team. We got a lot to get into today. So obviously Padres start for spring training over the weekend. We're going to get to that in just a second. Aztecs, brutal loss coming up later. We're going to get into, did they lose an at-large bid? Is that still a possibility? SDFC 5-0 or 5-0 win over the weekend over CF Montreal, starting their season big time. Plus, Alan and I's Lakers did not have a very good outing last night against the Boston Celtics. So we're going to get into all that. I thought we'd start with the Padres.
Can I just start with one thing?
Yeah.
Just like one real quick thing. How beautiful is it outside today?
Fantastic.
I mean, to go kind of I feel like San Diego and probably most people in Southern California, to have 2-3 days in a row where it rained, it was like we just went through Like we almost
tsunami.
we need therapy, we need counseling, and then to drive in today, and I'm just looking around. I'm like, yeah, we're good, and probably don't have another drop of rain coming for another how long?
Probably a year.
6 months. It might be 6 months.
So as someone who lived in Seattle for 3 years, it really brought back some. I mean, when you don't see the sun for 10 straight months,
yep.
When people complain about San Diego prices and they go, oh, it's unbelievable, I can't afford anything here.
Yeah.
When you go outside, and in New York today, I was watching First Take this morning, there's a blizzard outside and it's like literally 15 degrees. This is why you pay what you pay to be in San Diego, California.
There's a guy, I'm thinking of his name. I watched him on YouTube, and he's basically got this pet sanctuary. And every time I watch him, it's really cool. He does a phenomenal job, really cool videos. But I think he's up in Salem, I want to say.
Talking about Cesar Millan?
No, not Cesar Millan. Cesar Millan's in like
he's in LA.
He's I think just outside of Los Angeles. Ashland House or something like that. I forget what it is. But anyways, every time I watch him, he's in Salem, Oregon, right? So every one of his videos, like I don't think I've seen the sky in every one of his videos for, I don't know, a year of watching some of his videos. So yeah, no, we got it made here. I'm ready to go Padres. I'm ready to go ask all that stuff. But I just wanted to kind of point out here, we had 2 days of rain. And everybody bitches and complains because that's what we do.
Right, that's what we do.
And then it goes back to normal, and everything's okay now.
Now we're good. Now we can take a little walk outside. Yeah. Everyone can calm down.
Can relax.
Even though it's a Monday, it's beautiful outside. But it also is beautiful out in Scottsdale, Arizona. And that's where the Padres are at right now in Glendale. Over the weekend, it was great. Alan, just as a baseball fan, seeing baseball back,
sure,
I know it's spring training and none of the games actually mean anything, but it's kind of a push-up timeline this year because you have the WBC, which gets going in a few weeks, and Fernando Tatis, Xander Bogaerts, Machado, Mason Miller, all these guys are going to be leaving to go be playing with their respective countries, which is fun. I think it creates a little bit of a competitive baseball before we get to the season. Mm-hmm. But Alan, I'm curious your thoughts because the Padres made a lot of moves. Obviously, this time Germán Marquez, Walker Buehler, Nick Castellanos, Griffin Canning, all these guys. But they didn't make a move that is
moves by volume, not as like quantity. But we don't have no idea whether they're going to be quality moves.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So they threw, like I said last week, they threw a lot of darts at the dartboard, and you can tell the vision is with AJ Preller and company, and it's probably fair considering the budget. They're selling the team. They're not looking to offload or put a bunch of money in contracts.
And they have a high payroll to begin with on players that are going to be here for a while. That probably has more to do with it than anything else.
100%. So you're taking some shots. Now, if one of these guys hit, you look like a genius. And you're like, how did AJ Preller finds a diamond in the rough again? You're Nick Pivetta, you're Gavin Sheets.
1,000%.
But if he doesn't, we're sitting there going, they kind of made their bed in the offseason. But I'm curious kind of your thoughts heading into, as a massive Padre fan, into this season. A lot of people have kind of talked about, the Dodgers, it's foregone. It's a three-peat. It's this, it's that. No one can compete with them. What are your kind of thoughts on that kind of mindset heading into this year?
Yeah, I kind of feel it reminds me a little bit of last year. It's not apples to apples, but I think the Padres making the postseason 4 out of the last 6 years, you've created something where expectations are make the playoffs. And I'm not telling you that you can't create higher expectations, but there's also a lot of question marks around the Padres. I think if you just look at the NL West, honestly, I don't even think there's a reason to have any conversation about the Dodgers. Like, that's it. You get X amount of teams that make the postseason. Some teams are on a completely different stratosphere than where your team is. Last season, I wasn't paying as much attention to the Dodgers. I was paying attention how are the Giants going to do this year. Arizona was supposed to have a good season last year. They ran into a lot of injuries. I almost feel like it's very similar to last season. Get in the damn postseason and kind of don't worry about anything else. I would say the thing that I get more concerned about when I think of the Padres, I want to pay more attention this season. Can some of these players that are big time players, they're the faces of your franchise, they're making an absurd amount of money every single year. The bigger concern for me is, can we get better versions from the stars? And I think if you can get better versions of the stars, obviously the pitching staff is going to be a question mark. Let's see how Joe Musgrove looks based off of missing a year. Hopefully Michael King, whatever he had in the past, whatever he had last season that limited him, he's good to go. Nick Pivetta can play off of what he did. Obviously he was the ace for the Padres last season. I think walking into this year, I don't think I have that much different of a mentality than I've had. This isn't the Juan Soto year. This isn't the, well, if they don't make it to the World Series, it's just make the postseason. And I think we've seen in it more than any other sport out there, if you could just make the playoffs, you give yourself a shot. And that's all you're trying to do. And from my perspective, that's all I really look at. Like, I don't really think there's X amount of spots to make the postseason. Are you going to have one of them? Of course, depending on how the season goes, can you try to be a little bit greedy? Is there a way to have a bye in the first round? But those are, you got to win a lot of games if you're going to do that. And I don't know if I see the Padres, winning 95 games or something along those lines. I just try to get in.
And is that, to your point, is that the best thing for him? Because burning yourself out during the regular season, we look at a lot what the Dodgers did last year. The Dodgers put a lot of their best pitchers on ice. If we remember, Blake Snell didn't play for a couple months. You had Tyler Glasnow, who they put on ice. Roki Sasaki, all guys who are massive down the stretch in the postseason for the team. Now, it's a whole conversation we're going to get into later about the Dodgers have the ability to do that because of the payroll, because of the depth of the team. They can put 4 of their 5 starting pitchers on rest for a month, and they're still going to make the postseason and can afford that. With the Padres, you look at the top.
Can I just say this, Sammy? I think the problem, if you're any team in Major League Baseball, to try to look at what they're doing, you're kind of just you're wasting your time. You're doing yourself a disservice.
Right.
Like there is such a gap between what they're doing and this isn't even like a Padres question. This is more every other team in Major League Baseball. Everybody wins differently. Like, you can get into the postseason multiple ways. Maybe you get into the postseason because your division sucks. Maybe you get into the postseason because, I don't know, star players carry you. Whatever the case, like, there's many ways that you can get into the postseason. I don't think every narrative is created the same. For the Padres, they already have enough. They're going to have enough headaches within their own division outside of what the Dodgers are doing. I think it's tough to make any comparisons to what you're looking at. Again, not just the Padres. I think if you're Atlanta, you're not worried about what the Dodgers are doing. I think if you're the Mets, you're not worried about. If you're Philly, you're not worried about. I think all these teams, the Milwaukee Brewers, I think there's a lot of teams that just can't worry about what they're doing.
And to what you said a couple minutes ago about the Stars playing the best, I think that's been a forgotten about storyline the last few months in the offseason. And I get it. People love the Stars, their hometown favorite team, and they don't want to hear them getting pounded on. And I understand that, but
I don't understand. What do you mean?
I'm with you.
Okay, but tell me, because I don't know if I know. And I obviously don't have a mic every day in San Diego. So tell me what you mean by that.
I think people don't like when it's Tatis and Machado's fault, because if it's Tatis and Machado's fault or Bogart's fault, Bogart certainly has a case for that, then people look at and go, what do we have hope for going forward? Because these are the guys that we pinned our franchise, our money to.
They got the multi-year contracts, yeah.
And I think that AJ Preller catches a lot of flack sometimes I like overall what AJ Preller has done. I like when he went on at the deadline last year and really said, hey, we have a shot to go do something this year. I know it didn't work out, but you go get the best closer in baseball. You go get Ramon Laureano, Freddie Fermin. I mean, you made upgrades around this team.
Loved it.
But I think we can point to last year, Dylan Cease wasn't good. Yu Darvish, when he came back, wasn't very good. Jeremiah Estrada in the bullpen really struggled down the stretch there after being one of the go-to guys early on.
You lose Jason Adam. Yep.
And I feel like everyone can point to everyone else. And Bogarts, I 100% agree, has not lived up to his contract, and it's easy to look at him and go, that's the problem. But Machado and Tatis going 3 for 22 in the postseason against the Cubs is another problem.
But can I ask you a quick? I want to go back to what you said. Can you give me more info on what you meant by people don't like when they go after the Stars? What is, like, define that to me?
I think people don't like, in Texas, 70470, start your message with team. If you disagree with me, I think it's easy to look at the supplemental pieces and go, that's the problem of why the Padres aren't getting over the hump. And
I mean, that's the equivalent of, I don't know if I have the best analogy for it, but what comes with being a superstar And what comes with taking up so much of the team's space as far as the amount of money that's going towards them comes also the expectations and the scrutiny.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anybody. I mean, if somebody wants to make a case for me that they don't think Tatis and Machado and Xander Bogaerts don't need to be better for the Padres, I don't know if you're looking at it in an
a rational, objective way. And that's what I'm getting to. Like Luis,
that's just common sense. Of course, the Stars are going to have more on their shoulders, and when they're not delivering, the finger is going to get pointed at more of the Stars. Now, if hypothetically, let's play out that Cub series for a quick second. What did you say?
They went 3 for 22. Machado hit the 1 home run in game 2.
Yep.
Tatis hit the double.
Won them the game in game 2.
Game 2.
Yep. Let me play this out for you. If they went 8 for 22 and they had nothing to do with the losses, then of course all the fingers are going to be pointed at everybody else. And maybe it's fair, maybe it's not. If you're asking Gavin Sheets or something like that, it's like, all right, is it fair to put it all on him? Or you had a pitcher that didn't come through in a clutch moment, a clutch situation. Yeah, of course the Stars are going to get, they're going to get as much. I mean, I hope that's not the case. I hope people are not trying to protect Stars just because they're the Stars and they're your future. And it comes with the territory.
I completely agree. This is where I got to give AJ Preller credit. Is I think he gives this team, with not always certainly doesn't have the Dodgers money and ability to go out and get people. He doesn't have a lot of teams money and cachet to go out and get big time free agents. What he has been able to do, getting Gavin Sheets, a cast off from the White Sox, a cast off Nick Pivetta from the Boston Red Sox, kind of having to work on the margins here the last few years. And remember at the deadline last year, heading into it, a lot of people thought the Padres didn't have the resources in the farm system to go make moves.
He addressed every single one. Now, listen, there's a term that the last trade deadline is the perfect time to use that term. You trade the farm.
Trade the farm.
And how many times do you use that in so many different, it has nothing to do with sports.
Right.
Or just sports, right? You trade the farm. He traded the farm. There's a risk to that. Yeah, and I'm with you. There was no time. I remember I came on right after the trade deadline, and John and Jim were obviously doing the show, and I came on right after the trade deadline, and the expectation changed for every Padre fan. Now it wasn't just go make the playoffs. It's literally they traded the farm to make this run this year, and then obviously we'll see what happens moving forward. Unfortunately, the Padres had one of their worst season or one of their worst months at the worst time, which was in September. I think they were actually getting ready. When we had that conversation, I think they were getting ready to take on the Dodgers. They had like a 3-game set coming against the Dodgers.
And it was tight. The division was tight, up in the air.
They ended up winning 2 of 3. They had chances to potentially win the division. But back to what you said about AJ Preller, what AJ Preller has, I think what he's given San Diego is he's given the city hope if you're a Padre fan. And there's costs that come with hope.
Totally.
And they, have gone through this. If you want to go look at Major League Baseball and they rank all the farm systems, there's a reason why the Padres are so far down that list.
They're literally 30 right now.
Because he traded the farm. So anyways, I know we're kind of digressing, going in a couple different directions, but the case that you were making about the farm, that there is no farm because they did everything they can. And I don't think anybody complained that it was happening. It just obviously didn't work out.
It didn't work out. We're going to get back to this here in a little bit because I think there's a lot more to get into with the Padres here. But that's my point about at the end of the day, the guys who got their name on who's got the bobblehead nights, who has the sell the jerseys,
of course,
have to come through because AJ Preller's moves on the fringes only make sense when Tatis is playing like the MVP season he had 3-4 years ago, and Machado's playing up to his peak. We know those month-long heaters he can go on, and Xander Bogaerts can start playing like the guy that he was paid to be when he came over from Boston.
You know what reminds me of? What market was having the same conversation not too far into the postseason last year? Philadelphia. A lot of their stars weren't coming through. You want them to talk about.
It's been a perennial problem for him.
But and let me go. So when Philly was eliminated again, and don't make a run and don't get to the World Series and don't win a World Series, What do you think everyone is Philly talking about? You think they're talking about their highest paid players, or they're talking about the guy that's batting 7th or 8th in the lineup? Like, of course they're gonna.
They're not saying trust the process for the Phillies. I promise.
They're
you
probably
that.
not saying that.
All right, coming up next, we're gonna get back to the Padres here in a little bit.
Good
We
work,
got a lot.
Sammy. Good work over here. Good work.
Trying to do some ins and outs. You know
I like
what I mean?
it.
We got the Aztecs. Aztecs, unfortunately, rough loss over the weekend. We're gonna get into it next. Did they lose their chance at having an at-large bid, or is there still some hope? Are they going to have to win the Mountain West Conference tournament? So thank you for that. Coming up next on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome back to the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher out sick today. Wishing him nothing but the best.
Come on, Ben.
He's fighting. He told me he got some chills and some sweats. That really is the worst when you can't sleep overnight with it.
Talk about ruining the vibe of a good show. Like, you guys have a good thing going, and then a utility hitter comes in. Just a mob. This is a good example of what we were saying earlier. See, Fletch gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
Right? So if I screw up the show, it's fine. If Fletch screws up the show, it's different. So it'd be the equivalent of we were talking about Manny and some of these other guys.
Exactly.
To me, I'm not even on the roster. So what
our
matter to me?
Our power hitter's out right now.
Power hitters out.
Power hitters out right now. But text line loves you, Slee. 913 says big shout out to Sliwa.
That's my
858 Sliwa, love you, brother.
That's another cousin of mine. Yep.
They're all from El Cajon.
Yeah, everyone's from El Cajon.
Tyler on YouTube said, "What's up, Slee?" CJ, what's up, Slee? Everyone loves you, man. So thank you for coming in today.
Literally all family. That was all family.
Hey, I wasn't going to be the one to say it. But no, man, seriously, thank you so much.
Of course.
But
don't thank me. I mean, I get to talk sports in San Diego. It's phenomenal.
Hell yeah. Aztecs on a little bit less of a positive note.
Yeah.
Drop over the weekend, 83-74 at the hands of Colorado State.
They're struggling. Tough spot.
It's a tough spot because it also was a weird spot for that game because you're coming off a disappointing loss on last Tuesday night against Grand Canyon in a game that
very disappointing loss at home. Mm-hmm.
At home, and you were looking at it as you had to win that game. You knew you had slim margins to try to make the tournament anyway because of the fact that the Players Era tournament did not go very well. You got mud stomped by Michigan, Baylor, Arizona a couple weeks later.
Basically, every big test wasn't even a contest or a close
Which
game.
is a concern because if you want to go win a national championship, and that's where this program has elevated itself to. This is not the lovable San Diego State that, hey, can they get in the tournament from 10, 15 years ago? This shows you how well Coach Dutcher and that staff has elevated the program to where it's not just good enough to just get to the postseason. But overall, the last month or two, the Aztecs have played pretty good basketball. If you look at the Mountain West, take away the last week, I mean, they played pretty well overall. And then you run into Grand Canyon, who is obviously a brutal just matchup, kind of a kryptonite matchup for the Aztecs. Henley, the star guard, has actually beat the Aztecs 4 times, going back to twice at UNLV and then now twice this season at Grand Canyon. And then I think heading into the game, I mean, all last week, Fletch and I were talking about, can they still get an at-large bid? If they had won out before this Colorado State game, could they still get it? And I think it was an odd place for the team because you go into Colorado State, a tough road environment, not a signature marquee win because Colorado State isn't some great team. It was just kind of expected you were going to win and then head in this Utah State matchup, head in this New Mexico matchup, see if you could do some damage. And it felt like the team got caught lacking a little bit. And it's looking like the at-large bid is closed. Now, you obviously in college basketball, you can get bailed out with the Mountain West Conference tournament, and they could easily win 3 straight games and get in. But what are your thoughts on the Aztecs the season as a whole and kind of coming into the last couple of weeks here?
Yeah, I mean, just an awful week, right? I mean, just a really, really disappointing week. And you know, like you mentioned, Dutch has created an environment here. Started with Coach Fisher. I mean, hell, if I took you back to the days I was at San Diego State, they were handing out tickets. You couldn't get a ticket, or you could definitely get a ticket. They're doing everything they can to get as many students to go to games, and they've created an environment where the floor has got to be just making the tournament. And now, unfortunately, they're in a position, and here's the reality: they don't deserve to get an at-large bid based off what they've done, you know, especially over this last week or so. They dug themselves enough of a hole. I mean, if you want to go back, and I know that game will continue to haunt SDSU, but the loss against Troy, that double overtime, you can't have that loss against Troy. That they rode the ship. Like, they put themselves back in a position to not just compete, obviously, but to put themselves in a position at least to be in that conversation of getting one of those at-large bids. And this last week just completely killed that. So what do I think of the entire season up to this point? It's a disappointment. It's unfortunate that SDSU is in this spot. Could there be a positive that comes out of it? Maybe there is. They got a game coming up against Utah State coming up on Wednesday.
Big matchup.
Do you start using these next 4 games basically saying, look, we can't control anything at this point? If they could control their own destiny, before Grand Canyon and before Colorado State. Maybe they could control their own destiny. I don't think they can now. They just have too many bad losses to control their own destiny. Maybe these last 4 games is all about getting ready for that tournament and trying to win the Mountain West tournament, which they can. I mean, I think they got enough talent on the team. They got obviously enough individual talent to make it happen, but individual talent doesn't mean anything. It's playing as a unit. And a lot of quotes from Dutch after the game on Saturday seemed a little bit concerning from that perspective. They got some work to do.
And one of my favorite accounts, actually, Aztec Analytics, that covers San Diego State basketball, did a deep dive on the rotation. So the 11-man rotation, which has kind of been heavily criticized, they play 11 guys, and
it's a lot of guys.
It's a testament to
their depth,
the recruiting and the depth of San Diego State. But at the same time, it's hard to work in, especially on a shorter game. The NBA games are longer than college basketball games, to work in 11 guys and get guys comfortable with the on the court. 11-man rotation. He had the stat: 6-4 record, 10-man rotation, an 8-3 record, a 9-man rotation, a 4-0 record. And I think that is a testament to, obviously, you want all the best players out on the court. Magoon Gwath went through a period there where he was out. You want him back.
Still dealing with, a lot of injuries.
And LZ Harrington as well.
Mm-hmm.
LZ Harrington out was really coming on. Even the Players Era tournament, where the Aztecs didn't play very well, he was one of the few bright spots. But it's like the Aztecs have so much talent. I think that's why people are a little frustrated right now, because heading into this season, there were massive expectations for this team. I feel like last year they overachieved, and up to this point right now,
they're underachieving.
They're underachieving completely. And you look at the roster, and like, this team should be so much better. You have stars with BJ Davis, Miles Bird, Reese Dixon Waters, Magoon Gwath. But it feels like the fact that you have so many players and trying to work all of them in with equal time, it's like you don't have a go-to guy. You don't have last year, Nick Boyd and Miles Bird, there wasn't as many elite scorers on the team. We can just be honest about it. Those were the 2 guys who were getting the ball at the end. And Magoon Gwath was hurt down the stretch, so he wasn't even an option. So even though there wasn't the depth the Aztecs had, you knew the ball was going to Nick Boyd, or you knew the ball was going to Miles Bird when there was 5 minutes to go. And you kind of lived and died by it. I feel like recently this team has just, they're a little lost, and it's like too much talent and guys trying to learn how to work with each other. And it's not the time of year where you're going to want to be finding that out, because they got to get it quick if the Mountain West tournament is all they have left.
Yeah. If I'm Dutch at this point, you got nothing to lose now. Now it's, you're at a late enough point of the late point enough of the season where feelings shouldn't matter. I think, listen, don't get me wrong. Feelings, relationships, all that stuff is important. But if the goal is to make the tournament, at this stage, whatever you've done so far this year, it's not working on a night in, night out basis. I think what you just said about the depth, you play 11 guys, play 8 guys, play 9 guys, whatever that sweet spot is, whatever guys that you feel like deserve the minutes should get it, because of just based off of production, nothing else. Not that you're not talented enough.
Right. Not the name,
not
production,
the name, not the name, not the talent, none of that stuff. Guys, I'm trying to get into the tournament. And at this stage, that's all that matters. Let's put it this way. If you're an Aztec fan, an Aztec basketball fan, do you want, at this stage of the season, well, you got to play those guys because of the name? Or do you want just play the guys that make most sense? And if that's 11 guys, or that's 8 guys, or that's 9 guys, I'm not telling you here that it's just going to come down to how much of their depth that they use, but the margin of error is gone. That's it. Like nobody thinks now, even if you win out the rest of the year, there's probably a stronger chance that you don't get an at-large bid. You got to come off the script a little bit at this point. Now, whatever it is that you thought you were supposed to do, it should be done. I don't think you could do that anymore. Again, the floor always now is for SDSUs. You got to make the tournament.
Totally. They've risen to that floor.
The only path now to make the tournament, at least it seems this way, is to win the Mountain West Conference. Use these last 4 games. Even if you go 2-2 in these last 4, it's almost irrelevant. Like, it's
like a preseason.
You got to figure out, like, this is our training camp to once we get into, and their playoff would obviously start in the Mountain West Conference tournament.
Completely agree. All right, coming up next on the Fletch Zone, Ben Fletcher out sick today, Sammy Long, Alan Sliwa in. We're going to read all your texts. We got a lot of texts coming in on the text line, 70470. Start your message with team. Got some questions for us. We're also going to get into
Give out your cell phone number too. Let them text you directly.
can text us.
Don't do the text line. I want them to be able to text you on a Friday night at 11 o'clock. If they have something to talk about, text Sammy.
You know, they're going to text. They're going to go, Sammy, you know, although I've criticized you for your takes on Josh Allen over the years, I've finally come to my senses and realized that Connor McDavid and Josh Allen are about the same player in the NHL and the NFL. If you're a daily listener, you understand that reference.
Well, I will say something too when we come back. I'm going to save it, but you brought something up to me when we were prepping that I had to look around and there's nobody else in the room saying, did anybody else hear that? But you do your thing.
All right. Coming up next on the free iHeartRadio app. The sport is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Aztecs over the weekend lose 83-74. Rough loss for them. They'll be back Wednesday taking on Utah State. Possible quad one opportunity for them. That game is going at 8 o'clock with our coverage starting at 7 with Fletch and I on pregame, and Schaefer gets you going on the call starting at 8. And you can hear it live on air on San Diego Sports 760 tonight. Number 5, Houston Cougars taking on the number 14 Kansas Jayhawks. That game will be at 6 o'clock. Again, you hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760. Whoever said opposites attract was definitely talking about the new spicy menu at DQ. Spicy flamethrower chicken strips served with a dip of sweet DQ soft serve. Sounds wrong, but tastes so good. The new spicy menu at DQ. Happy tastes good for a limited time at participating locations. Welcome back to the Fletch Zone. Sammy Long, Alan Sliwa taking the reins today. Ben Fletcher out sick in this one. He should be back tomorrow. Sliwa, we got a lot of texts coming in here.
Okay.
So a lot of people, again, text us 70470. Start your message with team. Yes, we know. Alan's the man. 913. You the man. Sleep. We've established this. No, everyone loves you, man.
I actually texted in. That's my text.
You text in? You know what's funny?
That's actually not a bad idea.
I've thought about doing that.
I could come directly at you. I could just say, "Who's this guy, Sammy?"
You're like, this kid sucks, man.
The hell is he doing?
What is he doing? Get him off here. I've thought about doing that to Fletch. The only problem is my phone number is not from San Diego. I have a really old phone number.
Okay.
So it's very recognizable.
Sure.
So I can't slide in here with text like messing with Fletch during the day.
Find somebody in the office. Use one of their phones. Where's Cronin? Get Jack Cronin. Grab
where is
phone
Jack
real
Cronin
quick.
at? We're going to go find
send
him.
a text.
949 saying, did Ben trip on another acorn? He was out for a while because he his war story, he hurt his leg tripping on an acorn.
Yeah.
Hand on a Bible. God's honest true story.
Sure.
I told him to come up with a bar fight or like he was saving a kid falling off a boat, but no, he went with acorn.
Well, I just want you to know something. If I go down with an injury, I might have a similar one. You ever go for a walk and, you know, the sidewalk that you're on could be just half an inch elevated. No. I'm not talking about bad, like where roots get under it. I'm talking about like a half inch elevated.
You do a little trip.
How do I trip off of that? And then, and then what's the reaction afterwards? Then you got to look around and say, did anybody see that? And there's like, you have a full conversation in your head because of half an inch. So frankly, the acorn story, I feel like I could kind of relate to a little bit.
I had, getting off topic here a couple weeks ago, I was lifting a weights with a buddy of mine in the gym.
Okay, all right, relax there, Turbo. This guy, where's my protein powder?
Come on. We all know Arnold Sliwa is sitting over there behind the glass, getting up at 5 a.m. PRing for everyone.
Yeah, at 5 a.m. to use the restroom, but please continue.
But I was doing the bench, and my one buddy is a former personal trainer. He's super yoked out, so he had a bunch of plates on the bench, and so I didn't want to look uncool. There was a lot of people around by taking all the weights off, so I thought I'd sit down and be like, try to push one up. Weights happen to fall off the bench. I happen to fall off the bench. He's like, no one saw it. I go, everyone, the entire gym saw it, but it's okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna move on.
It's impossible. Nobody saw it. Like, that's a nice thing for him to say, but it's also a lie, a complete and utter lie.
I would have rather him said, everyone saw, it was an embarrassing moment. Yeah. Let's move on.
I had a moment here where, you know, for those who don't know, I also do YouTube. I do a lot of Lakers and NBA content.
Hoops Talk with Alan Sliwa.
There you go. So I had a stage there where like every couple of days I had a gym story update. The gym is a wild place, man.
Oh yeah.
That is a wild place.
What is most wild to you?
I think there's
guys taking their shirts off, looking at each other in the thing, or looking at themselves in the mirror.
Definitely one. There's like a thing right now. I don't know, what are these kids, like 16, 17 years old, where they're flexing in front of the mirror and they got the camera on. And I'm like, brother, do you know in the background, I'm in your background. Like, I'm not helping whatever you're trying to do. Just do that at home. Don't do that over here. I'll give you the latest one. I had one, and then we can get back to I still have to mention one of the topics that you wanted to do today. But the last one, this was on Friday. I'm at the gym. Guy, full on like conference call while he's at the gym. Oh,
that's the worst.
No, but I don't think you understand what I'm talking about. Like, he was doing squats. Okay. So I'll tell you exactly. Paint you the exact picture. I'm doing squats. Now he's doing I'm doing squats where it's still on
the hack squat.
Yeah.
You get to get a little, the shoulders. It's better for you.
Is that what they call it? Hack squat?
Because you don't, then you there's less chance to get injured. There's a little padding.
Yeah, but that sucks. That sounds so soft. Like I'm doing a hack squat. Anyways, I'm doing a hack squat. Next to me is a guy. He's one machine over.
Okay.
But he's doing the real free squat thing.
Yeah.
And like, he started talking, and I'm like, who's he talking to? And then he goes further into it. Next thing I realize, I'm like, this guy's having a full blown on conversation with work.
Full work meeting.
And I'm talking like it was a set like noon to 12:15. Like, he had a solid 15-minute chat. Brother, get off the phone. Finish your workout.
I miss most of this because I have my headphones cranked super loud which is probably going to pay for it later in life in terms of hearing. But
how is it now? Do you go loud on your headphones?
No,
here?
I go super low.
Okay.
In fact, I'll interrupt people because I won't hear them talking because I have my headphones all the way down.
Okay.
As a radio veteran, what do you think? Do you go one ear on, one ear off?
No,
you go
I don't.
double ear.
Yeah, I like it. And a lot of people do it that way. They have one ear on one. I feel like I'm more in my element when I have both on.
It
But
can
I
get a
don't
little
go, I don't
distracting.
go crazy loud. I don't go crazy loud either. Anyways, gym stories. I mean, forget texting about the Padres and the Aztecs. Animals at the gym. Just complete. It is. I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, we're at the verge where I think people should be arrested at the gym for doing certain things.
Speaking of that, text 70470. Start your message with team. Please tell us your best gym stories. Again, 70470.
No, tell us your worst gym stories.
Yes,
not
the worst.
That's your best.
Okay, before we get to the long shots, because we're running on a segment here. I used to work at a gym. I will remain undisclosed of where that was because they're not an advertiser here.
Okay. What street was it on?
It was in Rancho Santa Fe.
All right.
It is in a shopping mall
club
with a Trader
country
Joe's.
Club, yep.
Anyway, this woman comes down. I'm working the front desk, and all these high schoolers. I would have to work at night, so it would just be me in there with everyone else. And this woman comes down. She's like, "I feel a little uncomfortable. Some people are in the yoga room." I was like, "Okay, please sit here. I'm gonna go figure this out." I'm like, I don't want her to feel uncomfortable. Make sure everyone feels good at the gym. So I walk up there, and it's all the high schoolers. One of the high schoolers, and he's like, "Sammy, bro, I got to send a pic on my IG story." I go, "Hey, buddy, when we have a bunch of women in the yoga room, probably not the best idea to start
Probably
undressing."
Not the environment. Probably not the environment
He's like,
you want to do.
My bad, dog. My bad. I was just trying to look good. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, let's just use a little common sense.
I don't know
all
what
right.
To tell you. By the way, it's not just a 16-year-old thing. There's other things that happen with older men at the gym. It's like everybody's got an issue.
Everyone's got an issue.
How do we not have there needs to be a sitcom just like that's not an
that could be a sitcom.
Somebody that's at the gym that's like checking everybody in, all the behind the scenes, people trying to get the memberships. Not a bad sitcom.
That is we may have just came up with a multi-million-dollar idea.
You didn't come up with it, first of all. I came up with it.
Sliwa's got trademarks on it. Well, the text line is already chiming in with a bunch, and they've already said that you have trademarked it. So I'm out on the sitcom idea. But all right, coming up next, we're gonna get into long shots. We were close over the weekend. Okay, I thought Anthony Hernandez was gonna hang in there. Yes, we got text line. Let me know. They told me over the weekend that Sean Strickland was gonna win. I said Anthony Hernandez was gonna win. It did not. Ryan Garcia also. I thought he was gonna get the KO. He knocked him down the first 30 seconds. Was not able to finish the job despite a good performance. So we're gonna get a little get back coming up next on the free iHeartRadio app. Welcome back to the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher out today dealing with a little bit of a sickness. Sammy Long here. Sliwa filling in. Big thanks to Alan for tuning in today. Tonight on San Diego Sports 760, we have Big 12 basketball with number 2 Houston goes on the road to take on number 8, now number 14 Kansas. Our coverage begins tonight at 6 p.m. All right, so Alan, as the text line has pointed out.
Okay. By the way, can I ask you just a quick question? Darren Peterson playing?
He is playing tonight.
Okay, he is playing.
And
so all this controversy about him, but he's playing tonight.
He is playing tonight.
Okay.
He is it's a big matchup for Kansas, especially after the surprising loss against Cincinnati over the weekend where they got their doors blown off. But yeah, we're going to get a little bit of that hour too. The Darren Peterson conversation, that's some interesting stuff about him. Should be the number 1 overall pick, except you have all this kind of controversy with him not really playing.
Can I tell you what's going to happen? Even if he doesn't play, and even if he doesn't, show up or whatever the case is, if he's the number 1 pick, he'll still be the number 1 pick. Every NBA person will turn away. If he's the number 1 talent, he'll still be the number 1 pick. I know you want to get into a little bit later, but yeah.
All right, we're gonna get to it in an hour 2, but coming up right now, we're gonna make everyone some money in the greater San Diego to Orange County area.
Okay.
This is called Long Shots.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Pay that man his money.
with Long Shots.
You like the Rounders reference there?
Oh, I love Rounders.
Great movie. By the way, real quick, can you imagine walking in to Teddy KGB,
Yep.
winning your money back?
Yep.
He goes you in to play another round, knowing that if you don't win, you don't get pocket aces, you don't get a full house, you might not be walking out of that door.
That's one of my favorite all-time scenes in any movie. And, for him to crack the code on Oreos, that's a whole nother ball game right there.
I wish I was that good at finding tells with athletes.
Yes.
Be betting on this. All right. We're going to start with that Houston-Kansas game. All right. I have picked a lot of Kansas games this year. One of our loyal listeners, SoCal Jayhawk, gets very frustrated at me when I pick against our Jayhawks. I got to be honest. Watch Kansas Jayhawks a large portion of my life.
Yep.
And if I think they're going to lose, I think they're going to lose. Tonight is not one of those nights.
Okay.
At Allen Fieldhouse, +1.5, taking on Houston. Yes, I know Houston coming off a tough loss against Arizona. Arizona really responded well because on Saturday night, you had those couple great college basketball games, Duke, Michigan, Arizona, and Houston. Arizona needed a signature win. They needed that game a lot more than Houston did because you had a rough loss, Texas Tech. You lost to KU a week and a half ago.
I believe you. I 100% believe you. I trust you that everything you're saying is accurate.
Fletch is usually like, I don't like that pick. I don't like that. Chiming in right now.
No, I believe you. Is it wrong that I still every time I see Arizona play, I still root against them, even though there's nothing to do with San Diego State? I just always root against Arizona.
That's fair.
They've always kind of been in Aztec Central way.
And they always, John and I were talking about this last week, they always get in March Madness. They get to come to San Diego. It's like a home away from home from them whenever they get to play. Which
Get
is
them out of here. Get them the other way.
But I think KU responds tonight. They had a really awful shooting night against Cincinnati the other day. Houston coming off the tough loss against Arizona. I know they're going to be highly motivated. Fleming is the superstar guard for Houston. Kansas, though, when they're playing some sync defense, is a tough team to beat. Melvin Council had a bad shooting night on Saturday night. Darren Peterson, especially some of the comments he made today, which we're going to get into hour 2, highly motivated, going to want to put on a show that he's the best player in this game, not Fleming. Give me Kansas +1.5 in the fog tonight on primetime right here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, heading to the NBA. Spurs Pistons. Detroit is favored by 1.5 in this game.
Where's the game at?
Detroit.
Oof, I like that. All of a sudden you hit NBA. All of a sudden,
yeah. See now,
Sliwa, guy was breaking down Kansas and
Houston.
Well,
Big 12 basketball, Sliwa.
No, by the way, that's a good matchup. I like this matchup.
Okay,
all right, now get me into the mix here. Go ahead.
All right, I'm curious what you think.
Okay,
I'm leaning Detroit. I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay,
I know San Antonio is elite. They have some of the best guards in going in the future of the league. This team is going to be good for 5 seasons. I mean, you got Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Wemby. This is a team, you're not even talking about Keyshawn Johnson and guys like that, Devin Vassell, who don't even get talked about and have been there some of the longest. I understand the Spurs love. Tonight, I still feel like there's this aura about Detroit that no matter how many games they win, no matter how many times they pound the Knicks in the Garden and look good.
Yeah, it's true about that.
People go, yeah, but it's the Pistons, and they haven't really done it before. I think this is a signature marquee win coming out of the All-Star break, couple games in. Spurs, they have the bigs to be able to get after Wemby. Cade Cunningham puts on a show. Cade Cunningham is on a mission to prove he's the MVP and going to be the star of the 2028 USA men's basketball roster. I like the Pistons on the spread tonight, favored by 1.5. Sliwa, thoughts?
I'll take the Spurs. No problem. Definitely take the Spurs. Yeah, definitely take the Spurs.
Little side wager going on here?
Let me tell you, and we're not here to break down the Pistons and the Spurs, but this is if you're an NBA fan, this is a badass game. This is one of the best games you could have on the schedule because probably two of the teams that have come out of nowhere on both sides. So the Eastern Conference, nobody thought the Pistons would be number 1 seed. On the Western Conference, the Spurs have won, I think, 8 in a row, 9 of their last 10, something along those lines. They've been phenomenal. Remember, Isaiah Stewart's out, so that hurts them not having that size. I take San Antonio in this. Both teams are unproven in the postseason because both teams have not played. The San Antonio Spurs haven't had a postseason run yet with Wemby. And obviously, Cade Cunningham, what the Pistons are doing right now, this is kind of the new thing for them. I'll take the Spurs. You can have that $1.50 all day long. Right. I'll take the Spurs.
Sliwa and I got a little side bet. By the way, text line 615. Not happy with my Kansas bet. Take Kansas off the board, Sammy. I'm telling you, bro. Calvin Sampson's squad will not lose 2 in a row, and their defense is more than a struggling, embarrassed Kansas team can handle tonight. Again, that's a thought.
Yeah.
KU at home. We're trusting them in the flock. Final pick of the day for our third one. Utah-Houston. Houston is favored by 12.5 in this game.
By the way, nobody watched that game.
The Jazz Rockets?
Yeah, nobody should be watching that game today.
this is it, but we're gonna gamble on it.
No, you do your thing.
No. I'm not saying that. I agree with you. I'm saying, but because of why no one should watch it, because the Jazz are avidly trying to lose games.
Yep.
This is how we can benefit and make money. The Jazz opened as 15.5-point dogs in this game. It has been bet down to 12.5 in favor of Houston. So I understand people going 15.5 is a massive number to lay in the NBA. Let's look at the teams. Houston coming off an embarrassing loss at the Garden on Saturday night against the Knicks.
18-point lead in the fourth quarter.
18-point lead.
Yep.
And then you have the drama last week of you got the burner accounts with Kevin Durant.
What drama? So a guy wants to go on Twitter and just demolish his team, and he happens to be the star player, one of the best players in the NBA. What drama?
That might be a topic in hour
just
2 as well.
Turn away. There's nothing to see here.
So the Knicks come back and get after him. By the way, at the end of that game, Jabari Smith, the player he was calling out on those burner accounts,
took the three,
looked at Kevin Durant, said no thank you, and took the shot. Anyway, this is a rebound game for Houston, 12.5. They're going to destroy the Jazz. The Jazz are trying to lose. There's a reason
I'm sold on that one.
They shut down Jaren Jackson Jr. Markkinen's not playing. George, they're trying to lose these games. Houston is going to demolish. So to recap, Houston, take them big spread, lay the 12.5. Mm-hmm. I like the Pistons favored by 1.5. Slee likes the Spurs.
I'll take the Spurs all day.
And then I like KU.
I would give you the 1.5 with the Spurs and the Pistons.
It's fine.
I would give you.
Give me what Vegas is saying. Yeah. I'm telling you, Cade Cunningham.
Oh, he's a stud, complete stud. I love what you said too about him just walking into the Garden like no problem, taking care of the Knicks like he's done a couple times.
Don't you love how the Knicks fans had Trae Young to deal with, and then Trae Young kind of took a step back with the Hawks, and then
they had Tyrese to do.
Tyrese,
they had to deal with him, and now they got to deal with Cade.
Somehow playing the Garden, man, brings out the best and the opposition. All right, hour 2 coming up on the Flesh Zone again. Sammy Long here, Alan Sliwa stepping in. We're going to get into the Padres. We're going to get into those Los Angeles Lakers, which got drubbed last night by the Boston Celtics. And Sliwa has a bone to pick with me of something I said before the show.
Just about your topic ideas on February 23rd.
It's coming up next
on a Monday
on the Flesh Zone. This report is sponsored by the Tudor Dixon podcast. Aztecs rough loss over the weekend to Colorado State. They'll be taking on Wednesday Utah State, quad one opportunity for them in that one. That game will be going at 8:00 right here on San Diego Sports 760 with Schaefer on the call. Fletch and I get you going pregame starting at 7. KU Houston tonight. Big matchup out of the Big 12. Houston a 1.5 point favorite in that one at 6:00. You hear that right here on San Diego Sports 760. This week on the Tudor Dixon podcast, they're exposing a dirty Democrat learning the secret dangers of dance class and breaking down the State of the Union. Whoa, get the facts the media won't. Listen to the Tudor Dixon podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Sound off like you got a pair.
Let's get this week started with a little event at Snapdragon Stadium.
Anders, into the 18, Anders, save, Amal, goal.
SDFC is back for their second season with a statement versus FC Montreal.
No mercy, 5-0 victory, San Diego FC. Match day 1.
It was a long trip to Colorado for the Aztecs. Now it's back to work for Wednesday's game on the Mesa.
Who do you play for?
Play for United States of America.
Damn right.
Watch across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it.
Another classic at the Olympics. Another gold medal for the U.S.
What do you play for? USA!
Plus a full weekend of Padres spring training to break down.
We got the Lakers -8.5 tonight against the Clippers.
You are so money.
Duke +2.5 at home at Cameron Indoor, taking on Michigan tomorrow night.
Yes, good point.
Anthony Hernandez and Sean Strickland going over 4.5 total rounds.
Did I really just say that?
Give us Ryan Garcia +138 to get Barrios out of there tomorrow night in Vegas.
And we do it all from the San Diego Sports 760 studios inside the Fletch Zone.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone. Sammy Long here, Alan Sliwa filling in for Ben Fletcher. Ben Fletcher feeling a little under the weather today. Hopefully he will be back tomorrow or later on this week. So, Sliwa, by the way, did you see real quick, we don't talk a lot of hockey on the show, but Team USA winning gold. Unbelievable moment yesterday. That was like,
especially how they won it, especially because it's against Canada, especially winning it OT. Phenomenal.
You see Nathan McKinnon, one of the stars of Canada, come out and say basically that they were the better team despite the U.S. winning.
I didn't see that, but it's just, sounds good. USA has the Olympic gold, so it doesn't matter, right? Like anybody can say it. And by the way, sometimes there could be some context to that. Sometimes you could say, hey, in a March Madness tournament game where you just have to win once and you're not playing a 7-game set like you do in the NBA or, Major League Baseball or something like that. Yeah, maybe a team got lucky one time, but it doesn't matter. How they won doesn't matter.
I hate that. People say that in sports. They're like, oh, the better team didn't win. Well, if that's the case, then every sport should be like how college football used to do it, where they wrote a national champion in the newspaper because they didn't actually play for one. If the better team on paper always won, we wouldn't have sports. We don't have great upsets. We don't have we don't have Cinderella stories, to your point, in March Madness, or the Pacers going to the NBA Finals last year, or the Padres beating the Dodgers in 2022. On paper, there is no way that Padre team should have beat the Dodgers, and yet they did. So that theory about how the better team won,
but it's also it's kind of, if I'm being completely honest, it's a loser thing to say.
Totally.
Because what you could have said is, I love our team. I really think we have unbelievable talent. Unfortunately, we didn't play as good as we could have. Like, there's a way to say what he said indirectly, but saying that coming off of a loss does make it look like, it's kind of a loser thing to say. I will say this for all those that I'm not watching hockey every single night. Okay. And I've already had 3-4 people. I got a text chain with a couple of buddies, and I know all of them watch no hockey. So when I start seeing their opinion about the game, in my head, I'm like, just shut up, okay?
Jack Hughes didn't hit that saucer pass to his brother.
All of a sudden, everybody became a hockey fan this morning, or not even a hockey fan, but became a hockey expert this morning. let's keep it to those that are hockey fans. I don't need random people breaking it down for me that have never said a word to me about hockey before.
100%. And by the way, we're going to get to the Padres coming up next in the next segment. We're going to talk about the potential lockout coming up next year and everything.
Let's go.
Going into, I
might be the only one like excited about. We got to change the sport. I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
To that.
So
to your point you just made about hockey, I saw a video over the weekend that there's, I know, Alan, you're not a huge combat sports guy, but there's always the guy who gets invited to a boxing party, a UFC party, and because they watch a couple rounds, decide that they're breaking down, uppercuts, jabs, making sure what the game plan needs to be going forward. Now, we got a couple texts from people. This news just broke. Normally, we don't lead the show with boxing an hour or two, but this one holds it. Sir Will asking us, saying, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao confirmed for later this year for the rematch, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao 2, at the Sphere in Las Vegas, going down. Alan, do you have any thoughts on that? Now, I know you're not some big boxing guy, but that was...
By the way, I think we're all... I mean, I don't have to be breaking down every featherweight, welterweight, middle... I don't have to do all that to also watch the big matches. I think everybody kind of watches the big fights. What do I make of it? So, I think I'll watch it. If I'm being completely honest with you, I think this is probably one of the problems boxing has had for a long time. We just, I think anytime you get names, you get more attracted to a name rather than talent.
Yes.
And I don't think boxing has done a good enough job of, hey, you got this young gun that maybe you don't know about, but you trust the sport. You try. Yeah. And plus everybody's got, these promoters have too many incentives to not let the best of the best fight each other at the right time. So I'd probably watch that at the Sphere. Have you been to the Sphere?
Right outside it. I haven't been inside. Have you been inside?
That was awesome.
I saw it.
This guy.
I saw it.
Have you
from
ever
my
ate at that
hotel at
restaurant?
Caesars.
I have not ate at that restaurant, but you know what I have done? I have drove right by it. And let me tell you, that place looks awesome every time I drive by it. Well, do me a favor. Don't go by the Sphere. Go into the Sphere. I think you'll have a better experience in there. I have been to the Sphere. It's
what did you see in the Sphere?
It's the generic movie that they play for everybody. I didn't see a show there.
Okay.
I know U2 performed there, everything else. It was like literally they have maybe every 3 hours they're pumping a couple thousand people in there, and you could do it in the 10 a.m., 1 p.m., whatever the case is.
Really?
And it's just this movie that you're watching based off of the movie is made, I think, for the Sphere. So it is
fantastic.
Actually
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, so I have been
by.
by.
What did they charge? It was like $100 a ticket to go watch a movie. Like,
I have been by the Sphere. I've been on the street next to the Sphere.
Yep.
The beautiful people at Circa, who always sponsored the show at summertime, was drove us in a limo right by the Sphere. So we love Las Vegas. But regards to the fight, this is.
I think I have another question or two on that.
Okay, well, ask
what
question.
What happened?
What happened? Oh,
yeah, so I know Circa. You mentioned
they picked us
phenomenal
up.
spot. By the way, I'm gonna give them. It's a kind of a quiet plug here. I've never been.
Fantastic.
Good Lord, their ads are phenomenal.
So, you know what I love about Circa, by the way? And this is genuine. We're not just doing an ad read. They're not paying us anything. But when you enter the casino, a lot of casinos will let people hang out who are under 21. They just can't sit and stare at the table games.
Okay.
They check you at the door. Your IDs, there's like 3 entrances. They check you.
Yeah.
So it's all adults. They got a whole pool thing.
Yeah, the sportsbook looks ridiculous.
Sportsbook's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it's a great spot. In terms of Mayweather and Pacquiao at the Sphere, everything you said is 100% right about the problems with combat sports. And because of a lot of different factors, promoters siloing and only wanting to fight their stable of fighters because they get to keep all the profits versus sharing with someone else. You have paywalls where a sport that the reason you get people into boxing or UFC is because they align with a fighter. They like a fighter or they hate a fighter. In Floyd Mayweather's case, Floyd knew he didn't have the most exciting boxing style. So what he did was like, I'm going to be the biggest talker. You're either going to love Floyd Mayweather or you're going to hate Floyd Mayweather. But either way, you're going to pay $100 because you either want to see him win or you want to be there the night he gets knocked out. He never did. This is, in terms of this fight, will I be watching? Yes.
What are we talking? Give me a price. What's it going to cost what do you think to watch the fight at home? I'm assuming a pay-per-view event.
So they've tried to. The UFC went to Paramount Plus for a subscription service. Netflix has got in the boxing game, not doing that. Floyd Mayweather, because he calls himself the Money Team, Money Mayweather, he is going to try to charge $100. If they try to do that again, that is the biggest mistake they will ever make. Because when you fought in 2015,
yeah, I'm not paying 100.
No way. If you make this thing like 25,
yep,
I think people are like, all right, we'll see.
Yeah, 25 is a good number. 25 is a good number. And I'm down not to see the first 4 rounds. Like, is there a way that I can come in a little bit more clearance section, like
halfway through?
Yeah, halfway through. Let's work on the pricing. Like is it negotiable?
NFL Sunday Ticket. When you get to the final couple weeks of the year, they drop the price because they want you to buy it.
That's right.
To answer our text line's comment at questions, I don't love the fight. As a diehard boxing fan, I like seeing the real fights. This is not a shtick, but because they're so old, Mayweather's 49 and Pacquiao's 47.
There's some shtick in it, definitely.
Right, and I guess it's a testament to guys like Jake Paul. And if Jake Paul can make hundreds of millions of dollars selling a fight,
yeah,
then I guess credit to you. But is this like real boxing, like it used to be, a real fight? These guys are way out of their primes. It's gonna be sloppy.
I hope boxing. We've been saying this for years. So, and listen, you know more about boxing than I do. So hopefully we come to a point where it's about the talent again, because, I'm growing up, I'm watching Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield.
And all these guys fought each other.
Roy Jones Jr., like some of the best fighters we've ever seen. That was such a cool era to have boxing a part of the mix and have it count. And it's not that era anymore.
Coming up next, we're getting back to the Padres. So potential lockout looming next year. We're going to get into how do the Padres attack this season, plus excitement. A lot of people have said they're not totally excited for this season because they feel like it's the Dodgers to lose. Some people say it's the most excited they've ever been for a Major League Baseball season because it's potential last. And we're going to get into the lockout, what all that entails going forward. Coming up next on the Fletchstone, Sammy Long, Alan Sliwa on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome back to the Fletchstone. Sammy Long, Alan Sliwa in for Ben Fletcher, who is sick. I'm trying to find the text right in front of me that encapsulated Ben being out. Oh, 858. Okay. Fletch got sick because this is a possible theory for why he's out. Fletch got sick because he realized the 49ers have no shot of winning the Super Bowl. Go Eagles.
Well, he's had time to recover. These are the playoffs were a while back. He's good now.
That's a possible theory.
If it was the Monday after they lost, that's a different story. You know,
that is a rough day after your NFL team loses the playoff game the following Monday.
I don't know what that feels like anymore. I don't know. It feels
sadly
like.
All of San Diego.
I'll say this here real quick. So we were doing some prep, and I couldn't tell if you were being serious or if you weren't being serious, but out of nowhere, you said, and then we could also talk about, I don't even know how you presented it, but you brought up the NFL Combine.
Yeah.
And then I said, is that on right now? And you said, yes, it is.
A couple days.
And I said, are you actually watching that right now? And you said, yes, I am. And I said, Sammy, what are we going to mix into the NFL Combine on February 23rd? Like, I don't know what angle you're looking for from me.
I mean, I don't
think I have an angle on the NFL Combine.
I mean, I think all of our listeners, we could compare shuttle cone times.
Yes.
Some 40s, compare who's going to be the top prospects coming up.
Can I tell here, absolute truth. I'm sure the NFL Combine is wildly popular. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I just have, and I think a lot of people can I got nothing in the NFL anymore.
So to establish, Alan's from San Diego. You all know this. El Cajon, massive Charger fan your whole life until they left.
Yeah.
It is such a bummer because
that's not a good one.
We talk a lot of football on the show. Mm-hmm. Probably more than any other show in this town.
Which listen, it's impossible not to talk NFL and don't get me wrong. I mean, listen, I'm watching game, a good Sunday night game, but I'm not doing it the way I used to do. And the heart just isn't invested in it anymore. There's nothing that I can't get excited about the AFC West anymore. I can't get excited about, oh my gosh, Chiefs got a game against the Broncos. And how does that affect the Chargers if this happens? Oh my gosh, the Bills and the Patriots, look what it would do in the standings, something like that. Just don't have it in me anymore.
I'm curious. So as everyone knows, I'm a Chiefs fan. I grew up a Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
Because of my dad in Kansas
City. That must
City.
be really tough to be a Chiefs fan. That must really suck.
See, I got on the radio right in time for us to lose to the Eagles and then not make the playoffs. I wasn't here when we were kicking the Niners' ass up and down the NFL season.
Man, you guys are really struggling over there. I mean, any quarterback for the future you guys have in mind?
But I'm curious because I'm curious as your thoughts on this as a native San Diego. I live in San Diego my last 12, 13 years. All my friends are still Charger fans. They're devastated they left. But I have a lot of friends who were Charger fans before and are still
How old are you?
23. That's what I was getting to.
Could be that.
I was like, I'm curious in text.
And you also could not have good friends. That could also be another thing.
That's a very fair point.
Yes.
A lot of them are listening right now. They know that they're not.
I think if we established one thing, you need a new group of friends. Who are miserable. And watch the NFL.
Misery loves company, Alan.
Yes. But what's your question on that?
I'm curious. In 70470, start your message with team. If you were a Charger fan, because we talk a lot of football, we get a lot of text interaction. People love football, but obviously the Chargers not being here is sucks. Even as a Chiefs fan, San Diego loved this team, cared about this team. And
listen, I'll just let me squeeze this one in here real quick. I've lived in LA for over 15 years. Now, eventually try to work my way back to San Diego, and I still spend a lot of time in San Diego. No one gives a flying F about the Chargers in LA. Totally. So it stings more also because of that. But yes, go ahead.
So I'm curious if it's like a age thing, because I totally understand. I understand people who are like you. They're dead to me. I hate them. They left. I have a lot of friends who are like early 20s, mid 20s who are like, I'm bummed they left, but I'm a fan of the NFL. I'm a fan of the Chargers because if the reason I'm rooting for a team is because they're in LA, I'm not going to become a Rams fan. I've been taught to hate the Chiefs, Broncos, and Raiders my entire life, even though Vegas is not too far away. And then the Cardinals would be the most physically close team, but the Cardinals haven't really been relevant in a long time. So a lot of them have kind of told me, I was asking about this the other day. They're like, I've remained a Charger fan despite the fact that I can't stand Dean Spanos and I can't stand the ownership group. I am a fan of the Chargers, a lot of my friends say. But I get a lot of the people who had season tickets for decades who are like, screw them, they're dead to me, they leave, I'm not supporting a team from Los Angeles. I'm just curious where people fall who were Charger fans, if they got new teams, if they remain Charger fans, or if they're kind of like you, where you're like, I don't have as much of a love for the NFL anymore.
So I can only speak for by the way, I have a couple of friends and a couple of people that I know that remain Charger fans too. And I think the same reason that you just said, that they just don't, they don't root for the owner to begin with. So, what does it matter to them? I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's just when I say I got no heart in it, it's the thing that got me excited about the NFL was the fact that the Chargers were here and they were representing San Diego. So how they left, I think everybody's got, at least I do, a really bitter taste about the owner. I think that there's so many factors that go into it. Maybe if you told me they moved to like San Antonio, maybe it'd be a different story. There's no kind of connection or tie to that.
If they went to Vegas, I think there'd be a lot more support for them.
Maybe, could be. I don't have an answer for you, but I think there's just so many factors that go into play. But I think to me, it's not even really a conversation. It's like, look who owned the team, took the team, turned his back 50 years of representing San Diego the way they did. They're in a market where nobody cares about them. Everybody's still, from a broadcaster perspective, I think San Diego is one of the most underrated sports markets in the country. I think it's the best city in the country. How do you only have one professional team plus MLS here? And you already had an established brand that was the A squad in San Diego. And it's no disrespect to the Padres, but I think people loved Chargers football. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
Well, and I think you've seen, just like Vegas. Remember when Vegas, people thought it's such a tourist city, that can't be a place where they have teams, and the Golden Knights come, and it's a phenomenon in Vegas. People are like, just along with the shows and the clubs and the
Golden Knights did a good thing. Golden Knights have done really well, but I will tell you, I think also Golden Knights did well because they were one of the first ones in as a professional team. They have it's a brand new franchise. Like I think they built it a little bit differently, but
exactly. But then the Raiders come, and it's a big sports city. Look at what we know with the Padres have, one of the biggest, most rabid fan bases in all Major League Baseball, and has been thought of as a real home field advantage. Mookie Betts, for how everyone hates the Dodgers, Mookie Betts said on his podcast after they won the World Series, credit San Diego, man. He's like, you guys love your team, because that is a tough place to play, and that's not hyperbole. That's them being like, it is a hard environment.
Sure, no, people have respect for what Petco has built.
Look at what San Diego FC's done. San Diego FC in one season obviously has had unreal success. Start out with a 5-0 victory over Montreal over the weekend. Place is rocking. City's on fire for SDFC games, and as someone who didn't really watch the MLS before SDFC got here and now has really kind of
I think there's probably a lot of San Diegans that didn't watch all that much MLS, and then all of a sudden everyone got caught up in, hey, there's a team here. It's soccer, and obviously in San Diego, it makes a lot of sense. By the way, I think that kind of started with the Wave, and then obviously moved over to SDFC.
We have a bunch of texts rolling in here. 760, was a Charger fan, really stopped caring about the Chargers when Phillip Rivers left. Can't even name a player on the team now. Don't even watch the NFL anymore. 858, you can't be a real San Diegan, support an LA team. 619, 39-year-old. If asked, I'd say I'm a Charger fan, but they don't ruin my Sundays anymore. I'm more of a football fan now. Can't switch to a winner, then I'm a bandwagon. If I'm going to choose a team, a loser, I'll stick with the Chargers.
Let me say this, as far as like switching to another team, I tried. Like I was like, you know what? I'm a root for the Raiders. You know what? No, I'm going to pick the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe I'll be a Detroit Lions fan. Nothing sticks.
Right, because you don't have a connection.
What's my connection? I don't have a connection. And again, like I go back to it. I think at the end of the day, it sucks because it took something, like there was a piece of you that really, there was so much to look forward to for a Sunday night game or a Thursday night game or a Monday night game.
The NFL has the best schedule in way of, it is appointment viewing every Sunday.
Just phenomenal. And go back to this last playoff game that the Chargers were in. Again, I was in LA for that. No one cared. It didn't even register on the dial. Do you know what it would have been in San Diego for
Every
that
bar is
week?
packed.
Well, yeah, and listen, is there heartache? Is there there's emotion that comes with it? That's all you're looking for. That's all sports is supposed to be, is representing your city. And here's my honest, genuine opinion, and I could tell you I really, really believe this. It's impossible to be this size of a market and this unbelievable of a city, literally called America's finest city, and have one pro team. I don't think it's going to last. I don't think you can be here 10 years from now in San Diego and not have either the NHL, the NBA, or the NFL say, yeah, there's an opportunity in that market. I think it will eventually come. It should have been the Chargers, but you can't control somebody who has got no loyalty to a city.
858 says
and will never get the love that he had here, and nothing even 10% of it of what he had here.
Text still rolling in. 858. The owner put his
he's a loser because he never won.
Exactly.
I'm being honest with you, he's a loser. He never won.
The owner put his middle finger in your face and laughed all the way to LA. You still support their team. Yeah, couldn't be me. That's from the 858. Different 858. 1,000% would have supported the Vegas Chargers, but no LA trash, please. A 619 number. Both the Vegas Knights and SDFC won early, which is very true. Certainly has something to do with that. The Golden Knights,
I think that has something to do with it.
Going to the Stanley Cup final.
Sure.
In the first season, you got SDFC making the Final Four. People like to support winners. It's just people like when their team is winning.
Or they want to support their city. And that's what they had with the Chargers, right? They supported the Chargers because it was representing San Diego. Simple as that. Listen, look, I get the LA narrative of the whole thing. I mean, I grew up a Laker fan. Okay, I grew up in San Diego. And I actually think there's probably a decent amount of Laker fans that grew up here. And you know what's funny? One of the reasons why I got captivated with the Lakers is they used to play at the sports arena.
Mm-hmm.
Used to play every single year. Chick Hearn was my idol, whatever the case is. I say that because, at the end of the day, there is no basketball team here, but there was a football team here for 50 freaking years. So why are you trying to depress me right now? What is happening?
People are sending in. Jay Silves, loyal listener of the show. I gave a damn about the MLS before SDFC. Now a massive fan.
Bro, wait, can I just say something real quick about MLS? I mean, when they got to the playoffs, all of a sudden, I knew a lot about Vancouver. All of a sudden, I knew a lot about Portland and Minnesota.
Right.
MLS is such a perfect fit to say. MLS was a no-brainer for them. The moment that there was a stadium available, San Diego got an MLS team. So obviously, if you build it, they will come. That's the thing that San Diego will have to deal with, and we'll see if that ever happens.
619,
it will happen.
619, Dean need me in the nuts, stabbed a fork in my back, and kicked me in the teeth instead of having the courage to say anything to the fans in the city who supported the team.
Because he's a loser.
Exactly. The first message was fight for LA. What a joke. And I think this is the perfect text to end this segment. 858, Sammy, do your friends still believe in Santa Claus as well? Santa's not real?
Now I got this picture of Dean in my face.
Yeah, screw Dean Spanos. I think we all say that in unison as a member of the San Diego public. All right,
what a loser!
Coming up next,
I wish that loser brought him back.
I wish that loser did bring him back. Then I can see my Chiefs twice a year. You know what I mean? I mean, this is selfish. Come on, what's going on here? But coming up next, after we depressed everybody, let's get into the Los Angeles Lakers. Brutal performance from the Lake Show last night against Boston. How do they respond? Is this team doomed for the rest of the season out, or is there a glimmer of hope? We're getting into it next, live on the iHeartRadio app. This part is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Aztecs back in action on Wednesday, taking on Utah State. Big matchup for them. Potential to get a quad 1 victory. That game gets going at 8 o'clock with Schaefer on the call. Fletch and I get you pregame starting at 7. And Kevin Durant is eyeing the 2028 games to still be playing for the 2028 roster. And the Cowboys over the weekend signed Javonte Williams to a 3 years, $24 million contract. Star tight end Kyle Pitts for the Atlanta Falcons is tagged today, 1 year's $15 million. Score major deals on top brands at Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. Find your dream mattress today. Their sleep experts are highly trained to find the right one to fit your unique needs. They make sleep easy. Sammy Long, Alan Sliwa with you here on the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher out sick today. Hope he's feeling better. Checked with him a little bit ago. We'll see if he's back tomorrow. Keep everyone updated on it. Alan,
Kind of flew by the way.
it has flown by. We're
The hell's going on here?
Hour 38 in. We got upset about Dean Spanos, and it took us a little while.
Yeah.
Easy to do though. Text line as well. Now, you and I are massive Laker fans. You have the best Laker channel, in my opinion, Hoops Talk with Alan Sliwa, breaking down Sliwa show every morning, 8 to 9, covering the Lakers, covering NBA, as well as doing a post-game show after that. I am also on that channel doing preview videos of every game. But bad loss for our Lakers last night.
Mm-hmm.
Ugly loss against the Celtics. In my opinion, I felt heading into that game, it was a prime opportunity because the Lakers have not fared well against the elite competition. And heading into that game, you had LeBron, Luka, and Reeves being 8-3 heading into that game when they're all on the floor together. And their 4 losses, including the Celtics game, are to the Rockets, the Pistons, some elite teams.
Playoff teams. So if they could just not play playoff teams in the playoffs, they should be good.
If the Lakers could play the Wizards and Jazz, yes. I mean, you're talking all-time great team.
Yes.
What was the reaction last night? Because when I saw the team, the way they got punked up and down the floor was pretty frustrating to watch.
Yeah, I think it solidifies there's a small amount of teams that will be competing for an NBA championship. And then there's a lot of teams that are after that. I think the Lakers fall into that category. So I'll give you an example. You mentioned Houston and Kevin Durant in this. I think Houston's not going to be in the mix of competing for a championship. I think Denver's fringe, even though I think Denver, when they're healthy with Aaron Gordon, should be in the mix. I'm imagining they should be in the mix. San Antonio, OKC, Detroit, Cleveland, we'll see what happens. New York should be in the mix. There's a handful of teams. Lakers aren't in that mix. So Boston is in that mix, even though they don't have Jason Tatum. I think all last night did was show that the Lakers, we're talking about boxing a little bit earlier. There's certain boxers that they want to go 12 rounds and they want to inflict pain over those 12 rounds. And they don't need it to be pretty and they don't need it to be like they're waiting for a slugfest. That ain't the Lakers. Lakers are, we want to have a cup of tea. We want to hope everything is going as planned. And the moment something goes off course, the Lakers are like, yeah, we're not trying to fight. We're not, you want to go 12 rounds. We're thinking more like 3-4 rounds. If we just can't do that. The Lakers DNA is not a winning DNA. It's not a championship DNA. A lot of complaining yesterday. A lot of guys not getting back on defense. A lot of guys, Boston basically saying, we're going to push you around. What are you going to do about it? Lakers are like, we're not going to do anything about it. Our apologies. That's what I took away from yesterday's game. I think there's contenders and I think there's pretenders, and I don't think the Lakers are a contender.
I think you saw JJ Redick said the problem with this team a month ago when they played Detroit. He said Detroit's philosophy, along with Oklahoma City, along with the Knicks, I think along with Boston, is we're going to foul you so much that we're going to get away with where they're going to call some fouls, but they're not going to call everything. Because when you set an expectation of intensity and you set a physical pace of play, that's the way the game is. And it was on full display when the Celtics were picking up guys at the half court, making it hard for the Lakers to simply cross the half court line. They could not get into their offense at all.
Sure.
Lakers walking the ball up, and the Lakers, it just felt like letting the Celtics do whatever they wanted to. Peyton Pritchard had an unbelievable game. Obviously,
that guy's unreal.
Unbelievable.
Guy
No
was
one
sizing up every Laker and just taking them.
I mean, whether it was Reeves, whether Vando, and yeah, I get it. Were people frustrated as a fan watching and the Celtics were kind of pushing off? Well, that's the way the refs were calling it. So if that's the way they're calling it,
then you play the same way.
100%. And the Lakers, to what you were saying, don't either have that ability or don't want to play like that.
It's not their style. And so again, it goes, styles make fights. That's not the style Lakers want to be in. They don't want to be in that style. The other team you mentioned was Detroit, another team that's going to play hard. There's certain styles out there. And in order to win in any sport, there's got to be some ugliness to your play. The Seahawks can win a Super Bowl and they can.
Right, it wasn't pretty.
Doesn't have to be pretty. They could be ugly on the defensive side. Patriots got to the Super Bowl. Trust me, that's as ugly as it gets. Playing ugly is not a bad thing. In the world of baseball, it doesn't have to be pretty in order for your team to win. There's an ugliness that makes, I think, a championship pedigree. The Lakers don't have that. That's not, and it ain't coming this year. Like, I'm just being honest. I think really the best thing that the Lakers can hope for is you get to the offseason, you got a lot of cap space, you got 3 first-round draft picks, you start building. Honestly, how there's the Boston Celtics they drafted well. They got a good front office. They got one of the best coaches, one of the best young coaches in the NBA. They got all these players. They're like, who's that guy? Who's that? They got other guys outside of their
Neemias
stars.
Queta is all of a sudden almost averaging a double-double, and people go, who? The guy that played at Utah State?
Yeah, so there's a good example. They have a system, and everybody kind of fits into that system. The Lakers don't have that. I think they will have that. I think it's just going to take a little bit of time for them to get there, but that's definitely not their strength right now.
It's to what you just said. The Lakers were heading for years of how it was in the after Kobe retired, when it was Robert Sacre and Nick Young and these guys, because
they had no direction.
They had no direction. LeBron was getting up there in age.
Yep.
Anthony Davis was not a star that players were going to sign up to come play with in LA. You get a lottery ticket dropped in your lap with Nico Harrison and
Adam
Luka.
Silver said, why don't you guys take this? Cooper Flag, why don't you go over there, move a couple of the chess pieces, and everything's back to normal.
Let's create some interest. And the Lakers got that. But until the Lakers are out of the LeBron business, and before all the LeBron fans come at me going, it's all LeBron's fault, it's not all LeBron's fault. The way the team is constructed,
he's 41.
Is flawed. He's
old. 41. Guys, I mean, LeBron should be retired somewhere in Cabo. He should not be playing right now.
He can't play defense because of his age. Reeves and Luka, we know the deficiencies defensively because of their size and how they play.
Sure.
To build a winner around Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, you have to build the team a certain way with bigs, elite 3-and-D defenders,
dogs, guys that play both sides of the ball,
a Lou Dort type, and Alex Caruso. And it sucks because a lot of those guys have walked out of the door and had success, and your Josh Harts and Alex Caruso's elsewhere. I think the Lakers will get there. I think the Lakers will be really good next year, but unfortunately for this season, I just don't think the way that they play can take you past the first round of the playoffs, depending on a matchup.
Yeah, and listen, I think there's even if you get to the offseason, I think there's still going to be question marks. I think Luka's got to mature. I think that's going to be a big part of it. I think the question about Austin Reeves and Luka is they're legitimate questions. So we got, they got some work to do, but to get into the mix with those other elite teams, what they got today and their style of play that's not going to get it done.
100% agree. All right, coming up next, we're going to close this thing out, get into a little Padres. We've been teasing it all show. Excitement for next season. Text us 70470. Start your message with team. Are you more excited for this season, considering there's a lockout potentially looming next year and you're savoring every last minute of baseball? Or are you a little like, the Dodgers are looking like a potential three-peat threat? I'm a little over it. We'd love to hear from you. Again, 70470. Start your message with team. Coming up next, get into some Padres on the iHeartRadio app. Sammy Long, Alan Sliwa. The Aztecs are back home Wednesday to take on Utah State. Our pregame coverage begins at 7 p.m. with Fletch and I getting that going. John's got you at the tip after 8 p.m. Closing out the show here, Sliwa stepping in, the best man today for Ben. Of course, I am Sammy Long. Passing off to John Schaefer here in a few minutes. This is a good text, I think, to start off our Padre conversation, though, as we wrap up the show. So 619 texts in and goes, any sport where the main advantage a team has is money isn't a sport, in my opinion. Baseball needs a minimum and a maximum payroll limit. This will create parity and make the league much stronger as a whole. NFL/NBA have it right, and one of the main reasons those sports are more popular. Reaction to that text, Sliwa?
Yeah, listen, I think there's nobody, in my opinion, that can make a real relevant conversation or a real relevant argument that baseball doesn't need to be fixed. Like how can somebody make an argument that the current system is in the best interest of all 30 teams? You can't. And by the way, you could be a Dodger fan and you cannot have a real conversation of this is the right system. It's clear and apparent. And listen, that doesn't mean if there's a salary cap, all of a sudden the Padres are favorites to go win a World Series. And no, there's going to be a lot more. It will muddy the water even more. Every single move that you make, your farm system becomes very, very important. Every move that you make that doesn't work as far as a contract goes becomes even more significant. But yeah, I'm with him. Baseball, I think all you're asking for is this: every single year for whatever sport that you're in, you just want to know, if my ownership actually wants to win and they put together a good plan, do they have a shot? That's all you're looking for, because you can't control every circumstance. The way baseball is structured right now, like this is it. Like it's absurd. Like I don't know how anyone could make an argument differently.
It's the only sport outside of college football, really, in college basketball to an extent. But we have seen Cinderella teams go on runs in tournaments where when the college football season starts, we can scratch off about 100 teams from chances of winning a national championship. There's about 20. You may 25, I think.
Maybe Indiana changed that.
That's a conversation for another day. So maybe they have, but
yes, regularly, yes, that's how that works.
And in baseball, you have. It's like the rich get richer, and you have the Dodgers and the class of themselves, and then you have, to a lesser extent, you have the Yankees and the Mets, and then everyone kind of fills out. And then the baseball is the only sport where half the teams, the Marlins, are not winning a World Series. The White Sox, the A's, we can scratch them. The second first pitch goes off on opening day, we can scratch them off the list.
But some of that, I would blame that on ownership. So it's not
right.
It doesn't all come down to a salary cap. That's not what it comes down to. What it comes down to, there's an absurdity to the sport right now. There really is. There's an absurdity.
Mm-hmm.
So if we end up in a lockout, and if I don't think the Kyle Tucker and the Edwin Diaz thing is the thing that flipped it on its head. I think the thing that flipped it on its head, you could probably go back a couple of years ago. This is just kind of adding more to, obviously what we've seen. I just have a difficult time thinking that there's going to be an argument to be made against that.
The best way to end the show, 913, completely agree with everything you say. Hey, cousin Sliwa, great show. Thanks for filling in, cuz. See you at the next family holiday.
There you go.
There we go. Alan.
By the way, I have no idea if that is a real cousin or not, but I do have a lot of cousins in San Diego. So for all I know,
I don't think so,
it
but
could
we
be
can
a
check the
cousin
number.
in El Cajon, and I don't know.
We can shoot him a call right now. We'll
Sure.
figure it out. Anyway, Alan, you're the best. Go
Thank
check
you,
him
buddy.
out. Hoops Talk with Alan Sliwa. Sliwa Show, 8 to 9 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday, doing Laker postgame shows as well. Sliwa, you're the best, man. Thank you for stopping by today.
That was fun. Thank you, bud.
See you. Be back tomorrow. John Schaefer's coming up next. I'll keep you abreast if Fletch is back in. Peace.